Welcome, my nocturnal crocheters. It's Gwen at Crochet After Dark. Happy to be back for Vlogmas Day 3. It was a little while when I was so tired and sleepy, I wasn't sure I'd make Vlogmas Day 3. As you can see from my title, it's like, what have I not gotten done today? That's a lot. I'm still working on the dog sweater. Tomorrow is my last day of work this week, so I'm sort of hopeful that uh, I'll be able to knock out most of the dog sweater by the time that the weekend is over. I also stand a chance that I will have to go to jury duty on Monday, and a bad time because my students, are in the early stages of working on their final paper, and I hate to not be there. They probably won't care whether I'm there or not, but I hate to not be there with them. So we'll see what happens with that. Here is the no progress I've made since last night on the sweater. I have finished the increase rows. There were 2 or 3 of them. Couldn't make my count come out right no matter what, probably because I miscounted somewhere along about row 4. So I faked it. And I will say the pattern is not terrible, but I've had some issues with the pattern. Um, so I have kind of faked it in more than one place. So we'll see how it turns out. If it turns out good, it's okay. If it turns out bad, uh, maybe I'll just trash it. Who knows? We'll figure something out. The only thing I have really to show you is the scrunchie that I didn't have my hands on yesterday. You can see how cute this is. I think it's cute. I'm impressed with my abilities. Uh, it's made out of, honestly, some mainstay velvet thread. I've ordered some more velvet thread, and I want to make some more of these. I think they're really cute, and I kind of think people might like them. I don't know. I also was looking around my living room. I moved some stuff out of it because I wanted to put out a tunnel for my cats. So I wanted to make room for the tunnel. Cats don't like the tunnel, so the tunnel's been kind of a bust. But at least I got some things cleaned up and straightened up. And I found where I had my Centro machine hidden away. Here comes Coco. And I thought, I have a lot of yarn that I think would work well on the Centro. So I may make some hats in the next, I don't know, few days, weeks. Don't know exactly what. I know there's some controversy over whether those are handmade or not. I think for me, I don't really see what the controversy is about. Um, I just like them. And I told y'all before, it's cold here in Southeast Texas. I'm still freezing my behind off. I don't know when it's going to warm up to temperatures that I like, which would be like in the 70s. I think we're in the 50s tonight. Uh, Cold. You see, I have on a sweatshirt and I have on a t-shirt under it. Uh, Still too cold. I don't know how you folks in colder climes do it. One of the things that I thought of, since I didn't have much to crochet or much to show you, and obviously with the cat in my lap, she makes it very difficult for me to crochet. I'm gonna have to find another place to do these. She bit the fire out of me. Um, but I thought I would talk a little bit about the person that taught me to crochet. And for a lot of people, it was your grandmother or your mother who taught you to crochet. My mother and I, we could never jihad on the question of learning to crochet. And yes, she drew blood. Uh, but my mother wasn't a good teacher. She would be like, that's how you do it. And I'd be like, can you go back to the first thing you did? And she would sigh dramatically and not be able to figure out why I couldn't understand what she was talking about. Listen to her. She's terrible. And back she comes. So my mother she was the first person who tried to teach me how to crochet, but it didn't stick until my best friend from junior high and high school. She had gone away. She had joined the Navy right after we got out of high school. And she came home after she had finished basic. And I think that she was, don't know if her first child had been born or if she's pregnant with her first child, but she was crocheting. She was also cross stitching. And she taught me both of those skills. But the crocheting was first. And because this has been more than 50 years ago. Has it been that long? No, a little more than about 45 years ago, I guess. So the memory gets a little fuzzy. But she was crocheting. I was visiting with her, and I was like, oh, I'd like to learn to do that. So she said, here, I'll show you how. And I basically sort of learned how from, I would sit sort of at, I guess, a 90-degree angle to her. And I think that it created for me the kind of bizarre throwing method that I developed with the way that I would loop my yarn on my hook and everything. I'm teaching myself a more quote unquote proper method of doing that now. But for years, I have been a thrower. I would virtually hold my crochet hook still, and my left hand would do all the work. And now both my hands are doing work, and I'm getting much better at being able to do it the proper way. But she taught me how to crochet, and I still remember that. I don't know if she remembers that she taught me how to crochet. We haven't been in touch in a while. But I also remember the very first thing that I made, so fitting and appropriate for a girl of about 19 years old. I was pretty sure, even at 19, 20 years old, that I did not want to have any children. That's a story for another day. I love my nieces and nephews, but I also knew that I didn't want to have any. I didn't want to have the responsibility of children myself. So, but my first project was a granny square blanket, and the granny squares were all done in pastel shades of blue, pink, and yellow, and they were connected with white. And I just thought that it was beautiful and wonderful and adorable. And I have no idea how I joined it. I'm sure that she tutored me on the first few, and probably after that, I had forgotten what she showed me, and I made up my own method of putting them together. Because the first time that this blanket was washed, I put it on my bedroom bed and I used it, and I was so proud of it. And the first time that it was washed, it came apart in a million places. Now, the squares themselves didn't unravel, but the joins between the squares, they unraveled like crazy. And I somewhere, unless I got rid of it when I moved into the house I live in now, I still have the bits and pieces of that blanket. Always with this thought, pack rat essential right here, but always with this thought, you know, I could put this together and make it work still. And when I look at it, though, or the last time that I looked at it, I thought, what on earth do I want with a pink, blue, and yellow granny square blanket? But that's the first thing that I learned how to crochet. I learned how to crochet a granny square. And my dear friend Debbie, she is the one who taught me how to crochet. When my own mother couldn't, my mother was impatient, and like a lot of mothers and daughters, I think. I wanted my mother to teach me, but I wasn't really willing to be instructed by her, I guess. I don't know. In case you're wondering about babies, that cat back there is my boy Jackson, and he is a righteous pain in the rear, and he is my very favorite black and white cat who lives in this house at this time. Um, you might kind of figure out what I'm saying. He is so loving and so sweet. You may think Coco is loving and sweet, but she is. Every time I quit petting her, the look in her eyes says, you think I bit your finger? Wait until I leap up and bite your face. Pet me again. So that's why I'm continuing to pet her. She's not always the sweetest girl in the world, but she's entitled. She's 15. She can be cranky if she wants to be. So nothing really great and grand and new to impart. I am going to try to make a lot more progress on the dog sweater. I want to finish it this weekend. Of course, by this weekend, our weather will probably warm up so much that Franny doesn't need a sweater, but it will get cold again, and Franny will need a little sweater. And I think even with the mistakes that I've made, it's not going to unravel. It's not going to be like my first granny square blanket. It's going to do just fine. And I've learned a lot, again, about my inability to read a pattern. It is not that I'm not able to read the pattern. I don't want y'all to get to go, oh, poor dear, she's never learned to read a pattern. Oh, no, I have learned how to read a pattern. That is not the problem. It is my inability to read the pattern. I read it. I don't know if my brain thinks it knows better, or if I forget from one step to the next. But I'm pretty sure that the 3 stitches I had to fudge, I'm pretty sure that's all operator error. I'm the one that caused that problem. But we'll see. We'll find out. And hopefully it'll all come out in the wash and it'll all look all right. So I'm kind of anxious. At this point, I have about 12 rows of the body to work on since I finished the increase rows. And then I'll try it on one of the cats again somewhere in that process. I'll probably torture Coco, put it back on her, see if I think it's getting long enough going down the body. Prior to putting, it has little leg holes in it. So we'll have to see. Actually, that's going to bring it down to the front legs, so it has little holes for the front legs to go into, and then bring it on down the body and stop it. Now it has ribbing on the bottom of it. I want to show y'all this. It started with ribbing here, and obviously this ribbing was done as just in 9 short rows. That could be where one of the places I made a mistake is. I just noticed that. Heavens, I don't know what I did there. Or there. But so there's this ribbing that you have at the top that goes around the little neck. And then at the bottom, the pattern writer has included instructions on how to, once you get the sweater as long as you want, how to put some ribbing there at the bottom. And I'm reading the instructions and feeling kind of froggy because I'm like, this just seems very complicated to me about how to do this. I'm thinking I could either figure out how long that ribbing needs to be and then just make the ribbing itself and come back and slip stitch it on, or maybe not slip stitch, maybe use a single crochet to put it on. Or I'm thinking there has to be an easier way to just turn it sideways and do the ribbing. I don't know. Maybe y'all could give me some ideas about this. Because I'm kind of thinking about it, because the way that it's described has left me kind of scratching my head. Of course, it's one of those things that probably if I take it one stitch at a time, which I'm not likely to do because I get hard-headed about it, but if I would take it one stitch at a time, I'd probably be able to figure it out. I don't know. If y'all have any advice about ribbing at the, I guess you'd call it, this would be the bottom edge of this project. So if you have any tips or any tricks about that, I'd love to know what you know about it. So feel free to let me know in the comments. Really enjoying doing this Vlogmas thing, trying to keep these vlogs sort of short. I do hope that I have more crochet tomorrow because I really want them to be more crochet oriented. But we'll have to, it'll depend on how my day at work goes. Tomorrow's a short day and it is my Friday, so it could be a really good day. I could get a lot done after I get home. I'm going to close for now. I hope that if you like this content that you'll subscribe. Please hit like, share with your friends who are crocheters. Let them know that there's another face out here in the crochet world. Somebody who is, I may have been crocheting all these years, but I still really feel like I'm a newbie because I've just decided, she's biting the fire out of me. I have just decided that I can fake how many stitches it needs. It didn't come out right, I'll fake it. I can figure it out. So share my content with somebody. And I look forward to talking to you tomorrow for day 4 of Vlogmas. I guess that means tomorrow will be December 4th. It's going to be an easy way to keep up with what day of the week it is, or what day of the month it is, rather. All right, y'all have a good night crocheting. Keep on hooking, as they say. And I'll talk to y'all soon.